Next on the news at 10 is sports news, and Skybank PLC has emerged champions of the Remita Corporate Games after beating Etisalat by a lone goal. According to the organizers, the objective is to provide a platform for busy professionals to relax with a game of football. Our sports correspondent Austin Okonakwan reports.
A lively atmosphere best describes the mood at the finals of the Remita Corporate Champions Cup as friends and families give support to the teams that brought them out to Campus Square. Etisalat, Skybank, Unilever, PZ Cousins, Nestle, MTN, Standard Chartered Bank, NEM Insurance and Leeway Assurance are the teams that took part in the championship. System Specs, owners of Remita, an e-platform, explain why they chose to use football for branding.
A team have to come together to effect payments within an organization. And we felt good team play, that's soccer. If we can get people to play soccer, then that's a good blend with our brand. And that's the idea behind the Remita Corporate Cup Championships.
Then came the moment that produced a standing ovation. Peter Rufai, former Super Eagles #1 goalkeeper, is the tournament ambassador. Dressed in an outfit that brings back memories, Dodo Mayana will be tested in a penalty shootout. Competition and benefit analyst. Time for the final play. Skybank and Etisalat fires out to determine who will become the champion of the maiden edition of the Corporate Champions Cup. After a tense start to the game, Chukwuka Okechukwu produced a moment of glory in the 12th minute.
This is our second year in this competition and it's a total victory for us. It's our birthright.
Once again, the power of football as a tool for socialization and relaxation has been felt at this Remita Corporate Champions Cup. For players of Skybank, the feeling of being crowned champions can be a source of motivation at work that can produce greater success. Austin Okonakwan, Channels Television News.
In other sports, it was mixed fortunes for Team Nigeria, the World Team Table Tennis Championship in Tokyo, Japan. While experience and youthfulness paid off for the male team led by Segun Toriola, their female counterparts were not that lucky. In the women's event, Ofion Edem had put Nigeria in front against India, but Olufunke Shonaike lost a closely contested match which lasted 5 games to bring the Indians level. The Indians then won the other 2 deciders to beat Nigeria 3-1. And in the English Premier League, Arsenal are on the brink of securing Champions League football for next season after a resounding 3-0 victory over Newcastle. The Gunners went ahead when Laurent Koscielny prodded home Santi Cazorla's free kick. Mesut Ozil tapped in to double their lead before half-time, and after the break, Olivier Giroud headed into the third and sealed Newcastle's 6th consecutive Premier League defeat. Well, that's it on sports news. It's back to Sulaiman with the rest of the news at 10.
Well, the United Nations Security Council has called for a more systematic ways of monitoring sexual violence during conflict. The president of the UN Security Council, Professor Joy Ogu, says Nigeria welcomes the adoption of Resolution 2016 as a way of curbing sexual violence during conflict. Our correspondent at the UN Security Council headquarters in New York, Gbenga Ashiru, tells us more.
Certainly, no one could deny the occurrence of sexual violence, particularly during conflict. So it wasn't much of a big surprise as some permanent representatives put aside their traditional diplomatic niceties to a more frank talk.
It is okay by us when a UN civilian staff member commits rape in a UN peacekeeping mission, where the host country has no functioning judiciary and when the country of nationality cannot exercise its criminal jurisdiction extraterritorially over the accused because it has no law allowing it to do so. Is that our view? Rapes perpetrated by UN civilian staff members in this context can go unpunished? Because this is precisely what it is we are saying year after year.
As a way forward, the President of the UN Security Council, Professor Joy Ogu, assured the Council that Nigeria welcomes the adoption of UN Resolution 2016, which calls for a more systematic approach in monitoring sexual violence.
The time has come for us to redouble our efforts in our fight against this scourge and to hold our perpetrators accountable. This is the consensus around this hall.
Now the die is cast with strong allegations indicting UN peacekeepers for its alleged role in sexual violence. Now what is more pathetic is the absence of punitive measures to deter future perpetrators of these acts. Now for the silent victims of these crimes, our mothers, our daughters and our wives, the scars are still visible, as some are left to live with painful trauma and incurable diseases. Now it turns out that this advocacy is taken back to the UN, that he who must call for equity must come with clean hands. From the United Nations headquarters, New York, Benga Ashiru, reporting for Channels Television News.
Well, the U.S. has imposed sanctions over 7 Russian individuals and 17 companies, it says, are linked to President Vladimir Putin's inner circle. The White House said the move was a response to Russia's continued illegal intervention in Ukraine. And on entertainment news, multiple award-winning singer Tiwa Savage completes her marriage rites in the United Arab Emirates over the weekend. Maywa Gundele has details.
News of A-list artist Tiwa Savage's Dubai white wedding to Tunji Balogun is today's top story on Entertainment News, as the lovebird said "I do" over the weekend. Tiwa and Tunji, both decked out in beautiful wedding attires, exchanged their vows in an outdoor ceremony, which was followed by a lavish reception and an after-party at the Armani Hotel in Burj Khalifa. Nigerian superstars, including the Maven Records crew led by Don Jazzy, Eku Edewo, Toke Makinwa Tools, DJ Exclusive, Kafi, N6, designers Bridget Awoshika, Toju Foye, EME boss Banky W, Tudo Demore, Sheyi Shey, Lola Motayo Okoye, and many others graced the occasion. Away from Dubai and back in Nigeria now, top Nigerian acts including Two-Face, MI, KC and rapper Fino headlined the Trek concert in Olu, Imo State over the weekend. The concert provided high-octave performances from the artists, including a collaboration of heavyweights MI and Two-Face. Nigerian movie maker Jetta Amata, in conjunction with the United States government, has debuted 3 films from the forthcoming TV series Dawn in the Creeks, which tells the story of some Niger Delta youths as they strive to create Nollywood movies to promote non-violent transformation in the region. The TV series Dawn in the Creeks aims at forging a legacy of peace and transformation in the Niger Delta. And on the foreign scene, The Other Woman, a female-centered comedy about marital infidelity, elbowed aside 3-time box office champion Captain America, the Winter Soldier, to win the race at US and Canadian theaters this weekend. The Other Woman had ticket sales of $24.7 million US, while Captain America, the Winter Soldier, took in $16 million, bringing its total domestic sales since its April 4th release to $225 million. The PG-rated faith-based drama Heaven is for Real came in third with $13.8 million for the period of Friday through Sunday, according to estimates from Box Office Tracking.
Don't you think we need to be talking about this life?
And that's it on entertainment. Thank you for watching.
Well, on the main news again, in a surprise raid, the Joint Task Force in Kogi State has arrested over 500 young Nigerians in what it described as a training camp for an armed group, although the team's leader, Commodore Mohammed Shua, alleged that the institution was operating illegally, but its operators insisted it is legitimate. Well, that's the news at 10 tonight. Well, thank you so very much for watching.